We are live. Please mind your P's and Q's because it is 20 minutes pre-watershed and we don't want cancelling. But you may notice tonight that I am actually joined by all five. And I don't even remember the last time we did this. Probably this time last year was probably about the last time we were all together. I am joined by all five. What's the word for? What's the word for five? What would it be? Pentuplets? Would we be? Would we if we were all the same age? Would we be pentuplets? Yeah, that'll do. How are we, guys? I'll start with you, Smarty.
Very well, thank you. Very well rested. I've had a nice week off. I'm glad to be back here with you lot. You know, have a bit of a chin wag. It's been a while since we've done anything at all. To be fair, we've all been rather lazy, and we need to pick.
We have been very lazy. We've been really, really lazy. And you know what? This was probably should have happened at the end of our season, but we decided that nobody could be asked, to be honest, if we're honest with you. And we thought we'll delay it till the actual end of the season. And then we thought we can't be asked last week. So, Gilly, how are you, mate?
Yeah. Do you know, I needed a bit of a break afterwards because the end of the season finished, and then we thought, well, we get through playoffs and all of that, and so we celebrated promotion, and then we celebrated champions, and then we had parade, and it was so fucking heavy. I just needed a bit of time off from football.
Yeah, agreed. I've been pretty much pissed ever since, you know. I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've had a weekend or an opportunity where I've not had an opportunity to go get drunk and still celebrate. I've even gone into the local pub down here, which is full of Ipswich fans because I'm in Suffolk, and I've now put an Ellen Road plaque up on the wall and higher than Ipswich because obviously all Ipswich fans. It didn't go down too well to start with, but it's all in good banter. Jay, welcome.
Hello, mate.
The four of you will recognise that reference.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't need any of
that. Yeah, ready to go again now. It's been nice having a little break. It's been a bit weird not podding though. I missed it.
You never mentioned how in group like. Stop yourself
Because she just had so much job.
I've wanted to be doing podcasts for ages and no one wants to do it.
Yeah.
You mentioned fuck all.
Bullshit.
Karl, obviously, back to your homelands for a pre-season friendly against AC Milan. That should be quite positive. We'll talk about it a little bit more later, but that's quite positive news. How have you been? Are you still alive, which is always a bonus?
I've been doing all right, chat. Not too bad. Working away and, trying to herd cats together to get training sorted and stuff like that. You'll be glad to know, Gaffer, but, we'll see. How things
growing the barnet back. Growing the barnet back as well, I see. It's back to the 70s again for you.
I was thinking about it, for the game, just for the crack.
I think you should.
Let it fly one more time,
Full you might be like a
gale.
football Samson. You might need the air.
And it won't be a full gale.
I'm only jealous. Well, what we will do, we'll run a bit of an intro and then we'll crack into a little bit of this end of season show, which is about a month late. You can tell it's been a while because I've run the outro.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Orta No Better podcast. Let's do this.
Lead a shit.
We're recording, Oh,
shit. We had a good start. I don't think we've got the personnel.
You can fucking laugh all you want, you absolute bellend.
I think about things. That's why you lot are idiots.
A melted version of a dick that's been shrink wrapped.
The absolute elite shit out of this.
Apologies for that, gentlemen. I didn't even notice until it was halfway through, even that it wasn't normal that I was still playing that song. I was like, hang on a minute.
Honestly, it's all gone to shit. It's all gone to shit in the last 4 weeks.
In fairness, usually over the course of the summer, and it'll happen again this time, it gets refreshed anyway. So it could have been a different one and you just didn't know.
Yeah. But yeah, it was the season in review. I think there was loads and loads of different talking points, and we're probably going to be here come 10 o'clock still talking about it. Luke's got himself a ring light and a bottle of tan. No, I haven't. It's just light outside, and I have been to.
He's been at Gay Ray.
Where did I go? Albufeira on a stag do, and I went on a boat trip and burnt to a crisp, and I just turned brown straight away. So, yeah, I'm pretty.
I just
I'm
go
pretty
red and then
lucky
go
in
white again.
that. Yeah, no, I literally only got to look at the sun to get a tan. I did go on a boat
Gilly
trip
hates
and
the
got
sun.
Yeah, man.
What?
It's rubbish.
Gilly hates the sun so much he wears a hat inside.
Just
What
in
an onion.
case.
So yeah, I mean, in terms of talking points, why don't we just go around and have a bit of a conversation around obviously the season as a whole? It was obviously a successful season. We got promoted. If you didn't know that, then you're probably in the wrong place. But I'll start with you then, Karl. What was your feeling overall in the season? Now, obviously, we know some people were still managed to find negatives. I'm not sure there's anybody here really that could, but there are still people that have managed to find negatives that managed to keep, that Daniel Farker's staying on or whatever. But as a whole, your feedback on the season, Gail, please.
Yeah, no, like I around March or February time, I just maybe January even. I was just like, I'm just going to start enjoying it because there's no point in getting so wound up about it. Like I was very critical throughout the first half of the season, and then I was just like, you know what, like we're going to do it regardless. So I'm just going to start enjoying it a little bit more, and it actually felt really nice to be just there with that attitude, kind of looking at it, going, we're actually playing decent football. We're scoring loads of goals. We look, like we've found a gem in Tanaka. There was so many positives throughout the season. We got so lucky with Rothwell and Tanaka when the two boys went out injured, and that kind of turned the midfield on its head then, and it was a nice headache to have, and we had loads of kind of positives to take from it. Obviously, there's a couple of negatives that I don't particularly want to get into because it's a happy time now. We don't have to be all shitty about it anymore.
Nigel, Karl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to do it, but you get the like you said, Luke, you do get the people who are still trying to find negatives in it, and it was just like, nah, balls to it. I'm just going to enjoy it, and I thought the way it ended was absolutely perfect, and it was beautiful.
And it was beautiful. Now Wayne has just suggested that maybe the only person to find a negative from the season might be Gilly. We did agree pre-record, but we did agree pre-record. No talk of Aronson tonight, just because you probably weren't there then, Gilly. But yeah, if you say Aronson, we've been told that we're allowed to boot you out. So, Gilly, I will come on to you next because I don't think there is a lot that could be said negative, is there, about the whole season?
Well, no. I mean, if you consider everybody were talking about, well, it's boring because we keep winning, and then it got exciting because, well, we kept winning even more and scoring shitloads of goals. Everybody were like, well, it's just 2-0. There's no jeopardy, I think was said a few times on Twitter. And at that point, it was true. But do you know what? I think we all said I would take that between now and end of the season. It didn't quite go that way. We went months without losing from end of November through into New Year, and then we did, and everybody like, whoa, is that it? Is that the wobble? And then it just won, and it were fine in the end. And I think Burnley running us close for the title in the way that they did. I think I actually went back and had a look at the first pre-season pod. Luke, it was me, you, and Jay, and I've made a note of the predictions that we said. And Luke, me and you both said that it'd be Burnley dependent on the gaffer. Now, bear in mind, they brought in somebody that had been promoted twice. So we did the same thing. And we also, you and I, said Luton dependent on investment into their squad and who they managed to keep. Now, they didn't really invest, so they were shit. So I think they're both fair. And Jay tipped Portsmouth. So that's nice.
I like a wild card.
That went well. Said they were going to do an Ipswich, but I thought he meant Ipswich from the season before and not this season. So there you go.
Wicked. Smarty, I'm all right. I mean, I know how you all feel, but just I suppose put it into your own words that feeling when we managed to do it, like the absolute elation, and don't necessarily talk too much about the parade, but just at that moment, not necessarily even winning the league, but the actual clinching of promotion, when Sheffield United had that real wobble, because without that wobble, there could have been 3 of us finishing on 100 plus points this season, couldn't there? And there was a lot of pressure on us at that time because we weren't playing particularly great.
I mean, we had I suppose a lot of people called it a wobble, doing the Leeds or whatever, but really it wasn't a full-blown Leeds. It was kind of a semi-skimmed Leeds when we decided to draw quite a few games and, invited everyone else to try and, well, that's roughly the time when Sheffield United obviously went tits up as well and saved us a job of having to frigging muck about. But like you say, I think Bristol, for me, absolutely stuffing them. We were obviously close, but when we stuffed them, I just thought, there's no way that Burnley aren't beating Sheffield United. Or I wouldn't have expected Sheffield United to go and beat Burnley. So at that point, I thought, I think I've been relatively confident all season. I've been quite upbeat about it. People have been losing their heads, and I'm saying, we're going to get through this. We're going to be all right. And a lot of people have lost their heads, and there have been a lot of people that have stayed calm and thought positively. But yeah, when we stuffed Bristol and there were kind of a party atmosphere, and then going across to obviously the Peacock and it sealed promotion there, and then it was just, I think the best part of it all for me was being able to actually celebrate and be around my mates for the first time, because obviously we were all we were nowhere near each other last time we went up during COVID, and it were an absolute shit show, wasn't it? So just being around fans, being able to be in that moment around hundreds and literally thousands of other people enjoying the same sort of occasion, that real family sort of occasion, that and then obviously celebrating outside ground and stuff, even though my back was absolutely fucked because some wanker had jumped on me from however many freaking rows behind. But yeah, no, just that moment, and then obviously the parade was fantastic the whole day from start to finish. What a day that was. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've not really been bothered about doing a podcast lately, because I've just enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it for myself. I know a lot of the other podcasters, they'll save a little bit for, I need to speak about this, and need to speak about that on a podcast, which is fine. You guys do whatever you want to do, but I enjoyed it for me. And I didn't think about anyone else, and I was just in the moment with my pals, having a great time. And it's only like now you kind of obviously, when we said, right, we need to talk about it, we need to put our thoughts on it, I suppose, put a full stop to this season. But yeah, what a season, and I'm quietly confident about next season as well. But we'll obviously get onto that in the next few weeks and months. But yeah, all in all, a cracking few months it's been.
Yeah, Bryn says there was poor benches in the Peacock. Did you see there was actually a Just Giving set up for to replenish the benches? Fucking hell!
The brass they must have frigging made that chuffing.
They made so much. They made so much money that they ran out of beer.
On their behalf. Oh, we've gone a bit Eurovision, haven't we? Talking over each other. Go on, Karl.
Well, like they made so much money that they ran out of beer. Like, you know what I mean? They can spare money for a few benches out the back. Granted, we'll probably leave them be next time, but they were rotting away anyway. They were old benches. They needed replacing. So
what were they made of, these fucking benches?
Man, there's no way that. There's no way.
Behave.
Anyway,
maybe Bryn's selling them replacements.
I bet he has.
Jay, your highlight of obviously a really, really successful season. Nice to see the year that you were born on your chest tonight as well, mate.
It was a tribute to you, this, mate. Thought I'd make you feel, loved on the podcast since you hosted.
Yeah. Anyway.
Highlight of the season. Fucking hell. I don't know. There's been so much. I mean, it's gone from dread at the beginning when we lost players like Ruta leaving and the midfield duo getting injured, to then a point where I know I complained at times it were boring, and then it went a bit tits up after I complained it were boring, and then I wished it were boring again, and then we started winning again, luckily. But I think probably if I were going to pick one standout moment, it's probably recency bias more than anything. But I think clinching the title the way we did in the very last seconds of the game, with the satisfaction that Burnley had already started celebrating, thinking that they'd won. It were beautiful. Because we went 1-0 down, and you just thought, oh, for God's sake, we're doing it again. And to come and win that after the season we'd had, and it's been a long old season. It just felt like we got all our rewards that we deserved for how hard we've worked and how great we've been as fans this season.
No, he's always like that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Deconcentrated Karl.
He's probably rolling
Yeah.
a cig or something.
he's
also
definitely
muted.
muted. He's definitely muted. Yeah, I think I can't. I mean, in terms of sort of highlights of the season, I don't think anything, because we couldn't celebrate it legally last time, the promotion and being the champions. I think this time was a little bit more special. The club did a real good job of it as well. You know, the way it was. You know, there's different figures out there, and depending on what you believe, I've heard everything from 150 to 250,000 people in you know, in the centre of Leeds. Everybody there for the same reasons. One lad going into a coma, even, who's now out the other side and feeling a bit better. Bless him, Ed. But yeah, just an absolute wild day, wasn't it? It was from start to finish. I think I got into Leeds about 11 o'clock in the morning, or even earlier than that, possibly. And everyone was just there for the same reason. It was just so nice to have everybody together. Does anybody else have any other different highlights of the season that hasn't been mentioned?
I think you have to look at Cardiff result. That's a big deal, because do you know what? We'd all been looking at the way that we were playing and thinking somebody's going to be on the end of an iron at some point. But we've said that before and it hadn't really come to pass. I mean, it really did on that day. I think the Sunderland and Sheffield United games back to back, when you're thinking, if we go into that and if we get, you know, the ifs and the ifs and the ifs, if we go into that, we get all of these points, you know, we're just going to run away with it. And so there's quite a few. I think for me, one of the games that sticks out is Borough, because if you consider the makeup of that game, the fact that we scored so many goals and they just kept getting chalked off, even though they were good goals, and you're thinking, well, there's only one in it, and we've scored 2 other goals and they've not been allowed, and it would just be so easy for us to just concede at the death here, and we kept dropping back, and we got away. We came out with a point, and it reminded me like the Apo Halme game, Barnsley game, when it were such a turgid game and it were awful, and you're thinking, just get through it with a result. And we did. So I think, you know, there's quite a few bits where you can point out. You know, people talk about the Pablo moment, and I mean the Swansea game, and when they say that, because that's when people really knew it were done. And there's quite a few that you can point at, but I think in terms of season highlights, that those were the ones, other than obviously the Solomon bit, the Aguero moment where our rivals for the title are celebrating already, and then we go and win it at the death. You know, there's bits that stick out, but it's been such a long season, and there's been so many positives out of it that it's difficult to pull out one or you know, how many have I done there? 4, 5.
Just read this comment from Johnny saying that Jay coming in the Peacock after the Swansea game with a face like someone had dipped their cock in his drink. It's quite accurate.
I was so annoyed.
I've never seen someone so small get that angry in my life.
It was
hilarious, because there were a few of us going, fucking hell, he's on fire. He was like, back in, like this little angry dwarf, like we were bouncing. Like, nice, man, just calm down.
Our fuming,
bloody useless French bastard.
I was right about him.
There were so many mixture of emotions. Even when we drew a game, it felt like a loss. Do you know what I mean? And to me, I didn't ever think that being the champions was that important. I just felt the promotion. But when we'd played as we had all season, it would have been an absolute insult had we not won the league this season, wouldn't it? I think, because we were by far and away, by every measurable, by every, even on the eye, and, you know, Burnley drew about 12 games 0-0. Hornswoggle. Who's Hornswoggle?
Who's Hornswoggle?
WWE. He was like a little leprechaun. He was like a little midget dressed as a leprechaun. You were great, to be fair.
I'm not a wrestling nonce, so I wouldn't know about that, but that's quite funny. How dare
you? No, I'm not either. It was a Jim Henson character, wasn't it?
No. It was a little WWE guy.
Hornswoggle.
Oh, right. I was laughing at something else.
I'm changing your name to Hornswoggle in my phone.
How dare you? How fucking dare you?
As you thing as well.
Good God.
I think one of the underrated parts of the season, which was it's probably not a turning point, but one of the best decisions is to bring Darlow in for those last however many games that he played. I thought that was a massive call. Ideally, it should have happened earlier in the season, but Darlow made such a massive difference at back. We looked much more confident at back and stuff. And
he didn't have that much to do, really, Smarty, in fairness,
really,
in
not really.
comparison. Do you know what I mean? But
But
it
it
was just
performed
that,
when
I think
needed
it was, I think it was just, like you say, it was that confidence and Darlow and Ampadu in front of him certainly looked far more, Rodon and Ampadu in front of him just looked that went up that notch, didn't they? Their confidence with him behind him, without him behind them. So no, I completely agree. I think that was certainly one of our more important decisions I think he made this season. How do we think, just on that actually, how do we think Farke fared? Because we played different football this season. There's no denying we didn't play the same style all season as we did the season before.
Apparently this is honest.
I've got an image.
That's amazing. That is absolutely you. That is Jay.
Cheers, man.
That's class. That's meant. Oh, fuck me, even better. You look like Luke. You look like Luke there. Chupping hell. Yes.
God.
We should get that as Jay's picture for Creators Cup.
Yeah.
You've changed the layout now. It's zoomed us out.
Oh, apologies. So yeah, no, I mean, in terms of Farke, then, because obviously there was people unhappy that he was going to be our coach next season. A small percentage, I would add, but there are still people out there that can't believe that we've been promoted and decided to keep our coach, which is bonkers to me. But do you think he made? Well, clearly he did make enough changes in comparison to the season before. But do you think those changes were obvious enough? And he didn't necessarily wait until 70 minutes to make substitutes. He's certainly one of them. And I think we were far more proactive, shall I say, with the ball, rather than sort of waiting for an opening and passing it between Struijk and Rodon as it was then, or Ampadu and Rodon. We just looked to be that little bit more progressive for me. And I don't know if everyone else agrees. I mean, you're more than welcome to disagree. But do you think there was any other subtle changes, or even less subtle changes that were quite obvious to our success this year? Anybody can answer that.
There were times he moved stuff around, didn't he? And he started doing the thing where he used Rothwell at home and grew every and stuff like that. And there were games where we'd struggled a bit, and then instead of sitting off and doing the patient standoffish thing, suddenly we went at a few teams and we got good rewards from that. We boosted our goal difference massively. So I think he has like his traits that he sticks to, and I think he probably believes in things like the subs around that sort of time being the time that's the optimum time to change a game. It'll be something he believes in, no doubt. But he did show a willingness to adapt at times. Could he have been a bit more flexible? I think he probably could, but he did more than enough to sort of get the job done, so can't really criticise.
Yeah. Anybody else got anything else they'd like to add to Farke and the success? Smarty?
Smarty's going to go.
No, I'm not going to go. I just think, like, when Jay, he's saying that it's been boring and stuff like that. Last season, I thought the football was quite boring. Many a time, I found myself, like, leaning against my seat, or, like, kind of with my knee up and me just, like, watching it, like, fuck me, this is just horrible to watch. And I think with the, with obviously Tanaka coming in, and especially Rothwell for me, I think Rothwell has absolutely transformed that midfield for us and made us much more of an attacking threat. Certainly in the midfield. Obviously, Ampadu had his moments in there as well, but just I mean, obviously not as subtle like you said. Obviously more glaringly obvious, but players like Rothwell had a massive effect for us, and they were massive for us this season. Straight away on the front foot, etc. So yeah, maybe not obviously a subtle change, but definitely 100% massively more effective than Kamara and who else? Gruev. Gruev didn't do bad, to be fair, but Rothwell and Tanaka were the centre mids for me.
I think one of the things about that is had we not lost our starting midfield when we did, we probably wouldn't have seen the two of them in anything like the capacity that we did. So we lost our starting midfield for much longer than anybody was comfortable with. But potentially that actually set us up for success because Ampadu needed to play a lot of football towards the end of the season, especially with Strike injured, which is another aspect that in our comments here we're getting. So, you know, I don't think we'd have seen anything like as much of Rothwell or Tanaka, certainly earlier in the season. But maybe that worked in our favour in the end in a slightly perverse way. But, it paid off. It worked out. I've held my hands up several times over Rothwell. He was so influential in some games when we really needed it, when we needed somebody to pick the ball up and just drive it forward and just go, just give me the fucking ball. You know, the goals were... We've lost Karl again.
He's private message doesn't said he's going to have to go. I think he's got to put 20 meter or something.
Right, okay.
He didn't make it obvious there. Something is up. Need to go.
He's gone downstairs to shout at his brother, pedal faster!
Sorry, Gilly, do continue.
What's appeared on screen?
Oh, no, I've put them on. I've just added them.
Oh,
It's
right.
a new option that I'm just trying.
Right, okay.
All
That
the
threw me
comments
as
come
well.
up.
Right, got you. And then we the comments about Strike and about Ampadu having to come and play in there and those bits. I think it's all well and good to say that we didn't make changes, but sometimes we didn't have an option. But that bit about Strike coming back into the side, Rothwell coming into the side, and those two goals that Strike scored from Rothwell. Without that, things as early in the season as that was set. We only won the league on goal difference. However good we were over the course of the season, we only won it on goal difference. We can't, that can't be underestimated, and that means that every single goal and every single game was important. So, I think going back to the point that we made before, it's impossible to be critical of the side of the manager. I think we've won the league with 100 points. And we did have the injuries that I was scared about. Now, early on in the season, I was really worried about fullback because I'm looking at Firpo and he averages 21 games a season. I'm looking at Bogle and he was same. You look at Tanaka and the amount of football he'd played. You look at Solomon and the amount of injuries we've got. I said that we'd need an element of luck. I don't even think we got that luck. I do think we got away with it because we lost a lot of players. You're sorry, Smarty.
It's certainly not with offside goals.
Well, no. So I think if you look at the injuries we've had over the course of the season, we haven't had the luck that I felt we needed in order to be able to get through the games, and we've still got through it. It's really, really difficult to be critical of anything. It just is.
Yeah, because I think you were quite vocal at the start of the season about this ownership, and we'd not replaced, and we weren't bringing anybody into the standard that and that was echoed by, I would probably say. Certainly not a majority of the percentage, but a lot, quite a healthy percentage of the fan base at the time. But I mean, how good has the recruitment been? I want to move on to the recruitment because you look at the players we've brought in, and we haven't spent a great deal of money. We made Rodon's deal permanent. We brought Tanaka in. We brought Bogle in. We brought Rothwell on loan. Solomon on loan. Am I missing anybody? Ramazani.
Schmidt.
But I mean,
Schmitty.
even the players that didn't,
Hiram.
Gilavogi. But what a great signing Gilavogi was at the time, by the way.
Absolutely,
We didn't have any midfielders. But I think for me, you've just got to look at that recruitment and how often do you add so many new players to a team that plays such a vital role, And Jay, you touched on it earlier. You said we lost Ampadu and Gruev. I think they were the game after each other, one after the other, if I remember rightly. And then had that not happened, we might not have seen what Tanaka and Rothwell were about together. We might have continued playing.
I've thought that many times. It's just like that. It's like that weird sliding doors moment. It's just a twist of fate. We might never have seen how good Tanaka is. He could have been somebody that barely got minutes all season off the bench, and he could have left. And we'd never have seen out of him.
Because it features in cups and stuff. We would have definitely seen how good he was.
Schmidt barely played, and
he might have only got bit parts, Smarty. What we're saying? If Ampadu and and Gruev had stayed fit and didn't have serious injuries, we might have only seen him come on for the last 15-20 minutes, and that might not have been enough to impress. We look at Ramazani. Ramazani towards the end only was getting bit parts because the other two were playing so well. You know,
Yeah, but the thing is, the difference between that is that Tanaka always looked like he was competent and always looked like an absolute baller, whereas Ramazani really, as much as the tacticos and all that, you know, that you like to call them on Twitter would argue the fact, he never looks that impressive to me. Only in certain, I'm not saying at all, but only at certain, maybe he might pop up with a goal. And to be fair, it was either brilliant for me or absolutely average, whereas Tanaka has been 7 or 8 every single game all season, maybe apart from one. I think he had
would you say Tanaka was our best signing of the summer then?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. Did everyone echo that? Has anyone got any?
Unless you're counting Rodon.
Yeah, that's the one I was checking my head, but that's the one. I know we had him last season, but we made him permanent in the summer, and I think without him being that the amount of minutes he played at the back and the amount of times Karl wrote Bogle off at the start of the season, ball watching Bogle and all of that sort of stuff. Rodon we needed so often because we play with such attacking fullbacks. Rodon we needed to cover so often, and with Strike being so slow, and Melier being shit. Rodon was the rock in there, and he was there all season.
The only reason
so
I didn't say Rodon is because obviously we were there last season. That's all. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But we did sign him, and we went tooth and nail to sign him. Do you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it was probably part of a gentleman's handshake as part of the Archie Gray deal, even though they touched his release clause and that. But just going back to what I was saying about the incomings this season, isn't it? It's testament to how good the recruitment was, because Bogle was fantastic the majority of the season. Tanaka was absolutely great. Solomon we haven't even talked about hardly. Solomon came in on loan and he played baller. Yes, played so well for us.
And how many people?
One of the best players I've seen in a Leeds shirt for a few years.
How many people frigging wrote him off right at the start of the season? I can say this because it's here, it's on record, that I said this guy will be one of the best players in the Championship, and he was. He's absolutely fantastic.
It was amazing.
Would you guys sign him next season, by the way? Just
100%.
Yeah, on the basis that he's proven his fitness over the course of this season. I know he's had small spells out, but he hadn't had the big breakdowns that he'd had in previous seasons. And I think that it's such a long season. Premier League, I know that it's a different level of capability that's needed and what have you, but the Premier League, it's not as long a season. 40 odd games plus cups plus whatever else. So it's a different kettle of fish. It's more challenging. The defenders are better, but I think that was the only concern, really. I don't think capability was an issue. It was, are we just paying somebody's wages for him to sit on our in our first aid room? I think that was the worry. And if you hang your hat on somebody that might be in and out of the side all season because of the capability he's got, and we've got Ramazani that none of us really knew much about. We've got Nonto and Dan James. That's not a lot on the wings if Solomon isn't able to pull his weight in terms of the number of appearances. Capability-wise, it wasn't an issue. There were that 4 or 5 games when he were getting back up to speed. Once he was there, he flew.
Yeah.
Him and Dan James were actually on fire for months.
You can see little glimpses of his quality and stuff like that. Like you say, it took him a little while to get going, but you could see these little flashes. And we were always going to compare him to Somerville. That's basically who we replaced and stuff. And people are, he's not Somerville, he's not getting no end product, etc. But once he were up there, Man or Solomon could turn anyone into a frigging pretzel. He was turning them inside out, and Somerville didn't necessarily do that. He were much more dangerous going forward for me. But like I say, if I would love him to be our first signing of the season, I think it's just an easy signing for us to make, and it'd make a good impact for us next season as well.
100%.
I think
the money you're not getting anyone better.
Is my mic not working? No.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, but
go on, Karl.
I've been trying to talk there for ages, and you.
Now he's muted. Now he's muted.
Have you muted yourself?
I might have
muted Karl.
Someone else did it. No.
That wasn't me. I didn't do it again. I only did it once.
If you remember, this happened to me a while ago, and I was pretty much convinced it was one of these assholes that were doing it to me as well.
It's not me, I swear.
That
I'm not
shit
even...
house.
Go ahead, Karl.
I did it again. Go on, Karl.
I've totally forgotten what I was going to say now. So
Oh dear.
But you just made Cider come at me now, so thanks for that.
all right. I've achieved something tonight.
Yeah, just to slightly elaborate, I think Paul Brennan's hit the nail on the head here with the recruitment and the team that we have got. And I know you just touched upon it there with mentioning Korea and that, but you look at the last season. Is ostracized the right word? Where we had to ostracize Sinistera to train on his own with Willie and I think didn't even Cree train on his own at one stage because he wanted to leave. Do you remember how far
so,
down?
yeah.
I believe so.
Any
yeah.
hand, but yeah, Somerville and Nontoy needed to be dealt with. I didn't remember Cine doing it. I thought it were only after he left that we realised they were a shithouse.
No, he was definitely training on his own.
Sinistera and Somerville were training together, weren't they?
Right.
Yeah.
Last season as well.
Yeah.
And then you look at the players that we brought in, and we talk about this, the club motto side before self and all that sort of stuff. And Paul Brennan touched on it there. We had a player or a replacement player that was of decent quality and not far off starting first 11 quality in every position. Unsung heroes like Sam Byram, who came in and played games when Firpo was out, and play. We didn't really have to play anybody out of position. Now, I know we said we weren't going to mention Aronson, but we didn't really have a backup for Aronson in the 10 spot, and that's probably where we did suffer somewhat, and in some games when we could have had an option, and it was no secret that we wanted to sign a 10. We were in the market for a 10, but other than that, the recruitment has to be 9 out of 10, doesn't it? From last season, I think. From the summer.
Do you think when
I'd
we
give it
sign
an
a
8 or
10,
a
do we
9,
keep Aronson? Do you?
I think
we
we
keep
will
him?
keep Aronson. I think we will. do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I
think
don't.
there's one
No,
last-
no.
I don't
I
think
think
they'll be
we'll
able to
do-
sell him. I think he'll go on
No,
loan.
that's why, because I don't think anyone will come in for him. So he'll either, like you say, he'll be backup fodder, or he'll be, like you say, shoved on loan somewhere.
I think they'll want to
That's
sell
good.
him because he'll be on a decent wage, no doubt, in Premier
Too much
League.
value
where
in his
he
contract.
Came in the Premier
In terms
League.
of PSR, they take a knock on the PSR to then be able to bring somebody in. There's too much in his contracts left, so I
PSR's
can't see
shit.
him from a financial position. I can't see him being sold because I can't see people paying enough of him to cover off what remains in his contract because he's just not worth it.
No.
Wouldn't we only need to submit? Did we pay 25 for him, and he's been here for 3 years, so we'd only need to get 10
Yes,
million.
we'd have to get more than 6 for him, and we're not going to get that for him.
Oh,
That's
you would.
good.
You would.
Course you
would.
I think you'd get
would.
about. I
You
think you'd get
would.
about 12 million for him.
50
I think
pence in a
10 to
pack of
12.
chilies.
That's not
There
how
you
much.
get
Yeah,
about
it might be how
12
much he's
million.
worth, but you wouldn't get obviously just like you say, a packet of frigging Space Raiders.
There's
in the top
there's
fifth.
European
You'll
teams.
definitely get a fair bit for him.
There's European teams that take a punt on him for sort of 12 to 15.
He'll go back to Germany.
Well, look, that'd wipe out his amount. I don't think he's worth
Yeah, I'd be
anything like
happy
that. I
with
don't
that,
think
mate.
anybody pays that. But MLS has got a
Well,
bit of money in
you
it.
hate
Maybe
him
he'll
with
go
a
back there
passion,
because he
Gilly.
wants to get back at international side. But he's not worth anything like that. So I can't see him moving unless he goes on loan. That's like I say.
Oh, here we go.
I,
This is
Good talking point. Yeah, Harrison
Oh, no.
and his.
I would hoping no one would talk about this today.
Yeah, no,
well.
no,
There it is.
Steve,
I've thrown the cat amongst pigeons. There, go for it.
he can train.
If
on
I
his own.
see his mother in the stands, I am going to crack an egg on her head. Like, very much.
The old fucking bitch to back of my car. Don't fucking drive up Beeson Hill with the old bastard swinging it back.
Very much like Eubank Jr. did to fucking thingy in the press conference to.
We'll just get some stocks
Have that
stocks
bitch.
outside Eleanor, and everyone can start throwing rotten cabbages at her and saying, "Hey, you fucking old bitch! What are you saying now?"
Fucking
back.
hell. Oh, yeah.
I can't stand her, the old leather-faced trout.
Right,
I'm glad
can't
he's
say-
getting the shit and not
And I
him.
can't
Like
stand
an old
that
fool.
fucking
He's
arsehole
more
either.
shit than he
He's
has.
shit. Harrison's fucking wank. You've started me. This is why I didn't want to
Here we
talk
go.
about it tonight.
Here we
This
go.
is why I didn't want to talk about it tonight.
one last rant, Smarty. One last rant.
Bastard. No, he's just a perfect-haired little tosser, and I hate him. He's shit. He's average, and he's a shit house. I'm just going to keep it very brief because I don't want to go full rant. But yeah, he's an absolute shit house. He's not welcome back. And if he does step foot onto Ellen Road again, I will boo the shit out of him, and I'll look forward to it as well.
Absolutely. Right there with you, mate. I agree
So
with all of
is
that.
redemption possible?
No, absolutely not.
No. He thought he
not,
was too
not,
good.
not even possible.
Fucked off.
Because you've all told me that Arrington's worth having this season, and he went on loan as well.
The thing
But
is,
you
with
know what?
Aronson,
Aronson manned up, had a pair of balls, and came back and bit the bullet, whereas Harrison took
But at that
advantage
point,
of his.
But at that point, nobody was saying, well, if he comes back and he mans up and he apologises, everybody was saying, no, I don't want him back. And I didn't want him back, and I still don't want him.
to be fair, I did actually say at the start of the season before, it's a shame that he didn't stick with us because I thought he might have been able to do
No,
the
I
job.
think we all said that.
I'm not necessarily saying that was the case because I don't think it was the case. I think he's been one of the most underwhelming. He's done a job. He's been underwhelming for me.
He's played a massive part in a team that's won the championship. He's played the third most minutes in the squad. How can you cannot disagree?
We're not talking about Aronson. I want to fucking
talk about
Harrison.
Harrison.
I want to hate on Harrison.
The only example that I would try, Verba's the same. People said we don't want him back. We don't want him anywhere near. We'll boo him every game. But that's not been the case. Verba came on towards the end of the season, want a single boo. So I just on that one,
when he came out of that frigging tunnel, they did. You got some right boos.
Oh no, he got some. But when he was coming on,
I thought that was heavy, man.
They want anything really, and I think to say that they're beyond redemption. I think if Harrison comes back and has a West Ham game, 3 games into the season and gets a hat trick, people are going to celebrate that just like as they would if Dan James got an hat trick. Yeah. People are going to be celebrating him. And it'll be forgotten. His mum will still get all of the shit, just like Matt Grimes' mum still gets shit now. And she deserved it, and his mum deserves it.
Your mum's and so are you. Your mum's and so are you.
One of the things for me was the fact that Harrison is an average footballer. I think people were pissed off at Nonto because he was one of our best performers. The year that we went down and we were relegated. He was a good player for us. Aronson, probably not, but he had a year away and came back. We thought he might be able to do good. He's consistently said no. He's fought his way out of the team. His mum saying fucking stupid shit in the stands like that. I mean, he's just got no credit in the bank whatsoever, and I can't do with it. He's not liked a single frigging post on Instagram for he hasn't congratulated the team. He's done nothing. He's just a shit house. He's a little snake. And he's got a wanky little Mancunian 100%. Fucking American accent as well, which is a fucking hate as well.
I think you ought to be prepared for him to be with us next season.
Honestly, I cannot wait to boo the shit out of him. I hope I see him in Leeds. He's got
no spine. It can get through a closed door.
Do you think he'll go though? Do you genuinely think that Harrison won't be with us next season?
I might write a letter to Daniel and say, hello, Daniel, please, for the love of God, will you just stick him in under-21s forever? Just get rid of him. Just lock him in a box at Thorpe Hatch.
Stephen is a good suggestion.
No. But if Farker comes out 2 weeks before the start of the season and says, Harrison's in my plans and he's going to be playing.
Fair dues. Can't do all, can we? But we can boo the shit out of him.
Yeah, we can boo the shit out of him. People can make sure they don't ever buy a shirt with his name on and he can fuck off.
Speaking of booing,
slap her with a drone.
Speaking of booing people, shall we move on
to games to throw
to Sheffield United blowing it and Lampard blowing it, because they're two very, very positives I would also take from this season, despite us obviously having personal positives. We got promoted, we won the league on 100 points. How good was it to see those two fuck up and fail, man? I mean, that was almost as good as win the league for me. I'll be honest.
It's something that has to be enjoyed and savoured, definitely.
Yeah,
it was up there because we got promoted anyway. It was up there as one of the highlights of the season. I wouldn't give a fuck if we'd not gone up. You know what I mean? But because we did, it just makes it so sweet. It's the icing on the cake. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that poll going. I watched the playoff final and I was like,
can you rewrite that Ian and put a capital S for my name, please? It's fun.
And it was bloody lovely. Look at that.
Oh, brilliant.
He looks like he's lost a few pounds there.
He's been on fucking.
He'd actually make a video.
Jay's Ginster's diet.
I don't know if we're planning to use it, but
not been on one of them for many years, mate.
Why don't you play it now? Now's as good a time as any, Gilly. Why don't you give it a whirl?
Play it now. It's quick and dirty, but do you know what? It's here, so let's use it. It's a couple of minutes, just having a recap of everything that stuck out to us between the last home game of the season, and now.
Yeah, good that.
Just
I
some
do
crack
like
Kids
that.
there at the end.
Gonna have to go and see if
Cracking
he
that.
is working them after them screeching frigging like violins. Christ. I couldn't find volume button. Very well put together that, Matthew. Well done.
Thank
Nice.
you very much. Thank you very much. Some of it's stolen off Twitter, so if your pictures are in there, thanks, and there's your credit.
Subtly put, nice.
I would
Yeah,
do all that.
Just fly through,
Yeah.
through a few comments on the back of that, lads, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go, man.
Just a few
You
that
go
I've
for it,
been
man.
starring as we go through. Scooby says, "Oh no, we'll miss Scooby's out until a bit later." This is Scooby's. Actually, we'll do it now. This is Scooby's overview of the season. New signings: Egg Timer, Brendan Jazz, my son. Egg Timer, Furpo fucked off the
Sorry.
one. Don't know.
He corrected that to the worm underneath.
want
I
to his
still
son.
don't know what that means.
Nah, never do I.
Did one of the players do the worm?
Maybe.
I don't
Maybe.
know.
I mean, it would have been Ramazani if it were anybody, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Oh, of course it would,
Yeah.
man. Moves to beat the band, like.
He's the party animal that Pervader thought he was.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? He's like
Michael
that park
Gott.
climber.
I just want Farkin new season to prove down as wrong with that last time he was in the Prem. He dive bombed. Yeah, I think it's unfair to judge Daniel Farker on his last two attempts in the Premier League. You know, it was at a much smaller side in Norwich that didn't back him, who were quite happy to be a yo-yo team and keep getting the payments from parachute payments, and that kept them going up and down, and they were quite happy with that. I think we're a different kettle of fish at Leeds. We've got real aspirations to get back to where we rightfully, I think, as a fan base belong. You know, we've seen us there before, so there's no reason we shouldn't again. So yeah, I think it's probably fair to say that Daniel Farker is backed. And do we think? I mean, he's going to have to change a lot of things. You know, the recruitment's going to have to be spot on, I think, for us. And we're probably not going to be able to play the same style of football. But I suppose that's where he earns his money. When we can see what Daniel Farker, how adaptable he is, and how much of a chameleon it can be, and adapt to different scenarios in the Premier League. So we'll see.
He
I'm
did say in
excited
his
to see what he
last
can
press
do.
conference, to be fair, that he was going to have to adapt his style for the Premier League because what we were doing probably wouldn't be conducive with staying up. So I think he's very much aware of it, and I think he's definitely going to do a lot better than he did with Norwich twice. Anyway, I think that's for sure. Like,
Yeah, Scooby writes on the back of that. No bronze then. No through bronze 3 then. So I don't know if he's on about a special new razor that's come out or something there. But warning, Smarty incoming. Smarmy incoming. Those who, along with Fail, didn't realise we had a number 9 before playoffs. Don't lie, you didn't realise then or before. I warned you, top scorers. I think he's been a little bit told you so here in that he said that we'd still get promoted. And I think is he probably talking about Joe Pirro and saying that he probably has been. It was number 9. I'm not sure.
I think he's.
I feel like I understand hieroglyphics more than I understand that.
Yeah. Still on Farker. Oliver says, like we said on the square ball, I think the first season set perceptions of Farker and never recovered that from that for some. And I think what he's alluding to there is probably people made their mind up on Farker because we didn't hit our target in the first season, and no matter what he did in that last season, people won't forget that.
In hindsight, though, aren't we better prepared this time? So that's the way I look at it.
Didn't they have a 2-year contract? Because they said, it's a 2-year project.
It's a 4 or 5 year contract.
5 years, yeah.
Was it 5? Yeah. I remember him saying it was a 2-year project, and the gist of it was
if
we didn't get there in 2 years, that'd be the chop for him, sort of thing.
The chop for him, not the end of his contract, but the end of his tenure because he got sacked. But I think it's we all knew that we had to get up this time, didn't we? But I think if you look at the investment that we've had in the squad from the Premier League money, and then the ability that's given us to be able to sell Archie, sell Rutter, sell Somerville, sell Kamara, bring in 140 million, reinvest a bit of that, massively sets us up. Now, I think there's an entirely different pressure, isn't there? Because the fans at Norwich would have been looking at the ownership, not at Farker, and going, what the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you putting money into the squad? What on earth is going on? Farker gets sacked in the end because that's what owners do. They're not going to sack themselves, so they're going to sack the manager and blame the manager. So I think that's just a truism. That's just how it works. But there's no way to judge him. I think, I said before we won promotion, I said, if we do get promoted, I won't be against Farker going if somebody else is identified that's going to come in and be better. Because actually, that's the nature of what we're doing. A lot of people have said about Bamford and about other players that we've had. It's time to move them on. It's time for us to move on. There's no room for sentiment. Gets said quite a bit. If you can go get, let's say, you can get Ancelotti on the right money to come in and you can give him all the tools he needs, you'd be mad, wouldn't you, to say no? But realistically, we're not going to get that. And realistically, nobody sacks a promoted manager. So we're irrelevant anyway, really, when you get right down to it.
I mean, some people wanted to sack him and get someone proper in for playoffs.
For playoffs, yeah.
Do you remember that? The lunacy. The absolute lunacy of sacking him to get someone else in.
That's as mental as this picture, Jay. Look at this.
Who's done that?
Wow, that is literally.
That is Jay.
That's scary.
That's because that one's been altered.
Can we do a
has
side
that been altered with his face?
Yeah, I've used AI to put Jay's face on that Hornswoggle
That guy
grass.
doesn't look that much like me, Smarty.
Scary, that, Christ. Uncanny. Do you know you were a twin?
I was just doing that in background while we were talking. So
I'm glad I'm here to provide the light entertainment.
What do you think of Michael Gott's view then? That he hates to say it, but Pascal getting injured and moving Ampadu back to midfield was a massive turning point in our season.
Second season in a row.
Yes.
Yeah. And removing Meslier.
I'm not saying.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier, Karl.
Yeah, I know, but that definitely changed the was a turning point in the season.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not saying Pascal's a bad defender. He's just not as good at defending as Ampadu.
See, I disagree with that. I think he's a better defender than Ampadu, but we didn't do a lot of defending. And Ampadu was almost like an additional midfielder for us, and it just worked because we were on top. I think it'd be a completely different story in the Premier League. Ampadu got turned far too many. You think about the goals we.
Oh, there were mistakes. Against even Rodon made mistakes.
You can't talk about being
Strike made some fucking
strike.
I'm about to say, mate, it turns fucking slower than milk. Just fucking strike, man. Christ,
it were too slow. That were his biggest failing.
Jesus
that were why
Christ.
Ampadu were better there.
I bet
But
Jake can turn us
yeah.
on spot
We're gonna
kick
play
against
next
us.
season.
Well, like the thing was as well, like that when he got turned by your man at away at Preston,
Blackburn.
right on the halfway line,
Preston, yeah.
and like you said, it was like he was running in treacle to
Yeah,
try and
about to say.
catch up with him.
Yeah,
And
he
it- you know.
dropped anchor. He dropped anchor and fucking
Yeah.
pulling ball and chain behind him. Like,
That was it,
fucking
man.
hell.
Sean Gregan.
But he got too bloody close to him and got spinned straight away, and it was like, yeah,
Spinned.
that's it. Spinned, hey.
Spend and spunned.
Spurs
Ah,
came in
know what I'm
Pascal
saying.
for 25 million. You'd take it though, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're heavily linked
sell
with him.
I'd sell any of our teammates.
yeah.
to be fair. I don't give a
I'm
fuck.
not saying it's going to happen by any stretch, but he was linked for that amount of money with Spurs, and you'd take that all day long. I think. Would anybody turn that down?
For which player?
25 million for Strike.
Oh yeah, fucking snap their hand off.
I'd take 15 for Strike.
Jesus Christ, lads.
I
want
bet.
better.
Mate,
I want
honestly, I don't ever give a shit anymore. Sell them all. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Get a
fuck
complete-
'em.
Get a complete new squad. I don't give a shit anymore. You've done your job
Just
now.
stay the
Fucking
fuck up.
sling your hook. See you in a bit. We'll keep Harry. Harry, you can stay. You don't go anywhere, sunshine. Sit back down in your
That's it.
personal little, in your own little locker room. Rest of you get to
His
full.
little, his
Off you
little
go.
dressing room.
Will you sell Tanaka for 25 million?
No,
Yeah.
Nope.
Fuck no.
I'll
no.
sell you for
He's
5
d-
pence.
Yeah, we all would. But like, like Tanaka's definitely
You don't even know
worth
what we're talking
25
to,
mil.
Karl.
I do.
I
No,
think the
I'd like to
club
keep
would.
Tanaka.
I wouldn't.
I think the club would.
I think that there's
I
a
do.
good squad. There's a good corp, section of our players that I think will make it, in the Premier League and are very valuable. But there's a lot of fucking dross. in
Very
there as well.
wattable.
Very what?
Valuable.
Valuable.
Little.
What about this? Declan, has everyone seen the interview he does?
I haven't. I saw the
yeah.
comment.
Yeah.
I've not seen the
Declan was
video.
doing
What-
an interview with Japanese
Oh,
broadcasting.
Blowing
and he
smoke
said,
up
what do
his
you know
arse
about?
there.
Yeah, what do you know about Japanese players and all this? And he was like, "There's one or two really, really good players when we played against them for England." And he was like, "The lad at Leeds, Tanaka." He said he was the best player on the park when we played against him and all that sort of stuff. So he was very, very complimentary of Tanaka.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, but Declan Rice thinks Calvin Phillips a good footballer as well.
Hey, I just don't want him thinking he can kidnap this Leeds player as well, like he did with Ben White.
Well, he was a player at season when he played alongside him for England.
Yeah, it was.
You know?
I was just expecting a bit more of a nibble.
He wanted a nibble, didn't he?
I did, yeah.
Do you know what I think is really interesting?
Go on, Jay. What do you think's really interesting?
Apart from
Colours.
marbles.
You're a set of bastards.
Wrestling,
Shit
wrestling, Jay.
Shit
I think
t-shirts
it's,
and fucking fake TV.
Metallica. And
I
Hobnob.
bet you if
Hey.
you turn that green screen off, his fucking iron's still behind him. Turn it off.
I don't know where it is actually.
It's
don't
dropped
know
the
where it
act
is,
fucking. It's dropped
Get
the
your
act
iron out,
skateboard.
Jay. Just one more time. Get your
I
iron
can't
out
be
for
bothered.
us.
I can't be
Come on, in
bothered.
the comments, tell Jay to get his
I
iron
can't be
out.
arsed. I'd have to go look for it. I don't know where it is.
You
Probably
know
some-
where it is.
Yeah.
It's
You're
probably in
looking at
some
it.
Sounds be a
suitcase in
logistical
fucking
nightmare.
Ibiza as a little travel iron, you know, bed.
On somebody's dinner table of a half finished game of Monopoly.
Monopoly.
Oh, I think we should all just stop talking now, Jay. Well,
Go on, Jay. What do you find interesting?
All I'm gonna say, I just find it really interesting how we're looking
Crayons.
at sort of. That's one of your things. We're looking at keeping our best players and sort of building on what we've got. And it, from the sounds of Burnley, it sounds like they're looking at selling the best players. Like they're all looking to get out. We're in a much
Yeah,
better
well, they're
position than they are, and you know
they're going to lose Trafford to Newcastle, and then their two centre backs look like they're off as well. Like so, I think they might be a little bit foobar, to be fair.
that's what I mean. I think we're going to be in a better position than they are come the next season.
Jay, you've been given a £5 super chat. You have to get your iron out, I'm afraid.
You have to get your iron
Iron out, Jay.
Go get your iron out, Jay.
Come on.
Chop, chop. Has he
Get
got a
your iron
fucking
out.
pink? Has he got a pink bobble in as well? I can't speak. What's going on with you?
Oh,
God.
that's
Everyone's
like his
hand.
Christmas
I've not-
earrings, man.
What's going
I'll be
on?
getting my ass out in a minute because I've got shorts on from gym still. I've not had a shower yet.
Man, do you remember
That
that
bit.
Christmas earring he had in?
Oh, mate.
Christ, I
Are
nearly
you
got
ready?
it.
Are you ready?
You need to be
Thank
like one
you,
of them
Jesus,
bloggers.
that
That puts their
up.
hand, you need to put your hand behind it so the camera can pick it up.
For anyone listening on the audio, Jay has just paraded his iron like the championship trophy there. Just so
took
you're
it back
aware.
out of his
Thank
Christmas
you, Blaze,
cracker.
Winner.
Super chat
Winner.
who paid £5 to see Jay's iron.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Thanks,
got a
Blaze,
foot pick for that.
Fucking hell.
Not my foot, but you know.
Iron's bigger than Jay. Yes.
Smells like
go
a foot.
bad. Iron's bigger than Jay.
Just a couple more chats just to get through. What do you make of Parag being vice chairman at Rangers whilst chairman at Ellen Road? And do you think there's a conflict of interest, lads?
No, not at all.
Don't give a
No,
shit.
no,
not
no.
really.
Couldn't give two fucks.
I think they just want to.
Makes no odds.
I think
I don't
they just
understand
want
how
to
anyone
somebody-
could consider there being a conflict of interest when we're the Premier League and they're in a fucking Farmers League. It's shite.
No,
Scottish
it's
football.
what people need to
There's no
understand is
comparison.
it's two separate investment groups. It's not the
Yes, it
same
is.
thing. And
Yeah.
what they want most likely is somebody in both camps with a finger in both pies. And
You
that's it.
you steady with your finger in you. I've heard about you.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that
fingers.
is an opportunity for us to get rid of dross like Harrington and Harrison. If
Yeah,
we want to
shift
send
them
him
out.
somewhere
Send them
on
to
loan,
colonies, Rangers.
put him in SPL because they'll pay his wages. They'll pay their wages, and they can go and they can be an average player in a below average league.
That's it. If you shit for Leeds, you get gulagged. You get sent to Rangers.
You're
Or earn your way back out. to get
Gulag
back
in
to Leeds.
Glasgow. You get
Yeah.
fuck you bastard. Get on the
Glasgow
fucking road here.
It'd be like that place in Stranger Things.
Harrison, you pish.
I down.
Oh, they'd soon have had enough of Harrison at Rangers, man. Fucking
Oh,
hell,
mate.
God, yeah.
Imagine if
It
her
wouldn't
fucking
last
mother gets found out over there, Christ on the bike, they'd be fucking strapping her to a chair and throwing her in a fucking river. Get in there, you old bastard!
Glasgow kisses left, right,
hang
and
on. I do not hate the Scotch at all. I think the Scotch are a wonderful people, and it's one of my
we love-
favourite places in
we
the
love
world.
the
I used to
Scots.
go there every year for my summer holidays when my grandma and granddad lived there, and it's a beautiful place. I hate Harrington. I don't hate the
Yeah.
Scotch.
Scotch.
You're not like that.
How can you
You're
hate
not
one
like
of
that
our
Braveheart geezer.
11 players that got promoted? Honestly, I don't get
Yeah.
that. I really still don't get it.
Fine. Let's not get into it because can't be asked again.
That's fine. Harrison got us promoted last time. He's still a shithouse.
Yeah, but he wasn't when he left. He was a hero, wasn't he? Before he left, he was one of the mainstays.
hero
in
to
this
zero.
program.
Yes.
Anyway,
Now he's a twat.
that's a whole different question. Michael
he's a
Gott says,
twat.
any talk tonight on the new stadium? There isn't really a lot been released since it's been announced, has there? They've given us a timeline.
When we've literally fuck all else to talk about, Michael, we'll talk about the stadium
Yeah.
that isn't been built yet.
The pictures
Everything
do look
but
amazing.
Harrison's
I
moment
think-
foundations.
I think if it turns out anything like those pictures and that mock-up,
Yeah.
I'll be quite happy with that because you always worry that it's going to end up a soulless bowl of a fucking West Ham or Spurs stadium and just be focused on maximising the income. And I don't think they've done that. I don't. I think I think it's
Scottish Order.
it's sympathetic of the history of the ground, and I think that's all we needed to see.
Scenes when we get like
Yeah.
12,000 more seats and Gilly still can't get a season ticket.
Fuming.
Outside with a little
Fuming,
outside,
mate.
him and Gale outside fucking East Stand with little flags. Bastards! I want to know where I am.
49ers out. Red Bull, fuck off.
Bryn's head, I don't know what your thoughts on this are. Purist now with Hammond and Penrice gone. Hope Underwood can step up, but reading Berrin's
Penfold.
articles this summer. Penrice.
No, just
Underwood, but yeah, Berrin's articles summer will be interesting. Just on the transfers, how many new players do we expect to bring in realistically, and how many do you think we're going to offload? We're going to offload quite a few, I think, are we? We've already said we're going to listen to offers today for Giabi, for
Garbage.
Greenwood
Yeah,
and
So
Jaffe.
we're all right at Plymouth,
and
to be fair.
Joffrey, yeah, that's right. That's right. So the right offers, I think they're valued about 4 or 5 million each, and I think we'd take those for it free.
Well, they're looking at 2.5 million each, and I think that's what the going rate for them probably would be, to be fair.
But then you think only 5 players to bring in? Did I see you hold your hand up, Karl?
I did, yeah. 5.
Hold your hand up again. Have you been self-tanning, Karl?
No.
The palm of your hand looks very brown.
That ain't tan.
Ran out of toilet paper.
Digestives and making cheesecake.
Well, let's put it this way: we need to sign Firpo or a replacement, so that's 1.
Yeah.
We need to sign a replacement for Melier, so that's 2.
Yes.
Centre back.
Left back.
Unless we're going to play Verber
Left
on a
back,
regular basis, we need a new centre back. I think if you look at
Or
the
2.
wing, there's or 2. We either need to sign Solomon or a replacement in the squad for him if we can't get him, or if they decide they don't want him.
Strike as a main defender in the Premier League.
No, we can't. I think 4. But
Six,
you know,
maybe.
and people have said not starting out. I think we're all right in central midfield because I think that's probably where Ampadu will play, and you've got Tanaka, but we have to sign a replacement in the squad for Rothwell. We need a 9, so I'm up to 7 already. We need a 10.
We need a
That's
10.
8.
We need a left winger as well, and probably
You
a right
counted
winger.
2
Solomon.
centre backs in that, yeah.
Oh, did you say sorry, Solomon? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
now
Or a
then,
replacement
lads,
in the squad.
curveball. Replacement or someone better than Dan James potentially.
So, do you know what scares me on that? Is Solomon and James were Fulham's 4th and 5th choice wingers.
Yes.
That scares me a lot. When we saw how good they were, imagine the difference between how amazing they were for that condensed period when they were getting a solid run in our team and how good they were. Now, picture that. They're 4th and 5th choice in the Premier League because the Premier League's that good. That's a bit of a scary concept, really.
Solomon was going through his injury woes, wasn't he, at the time? So, him aside, but Dan
James
we
had
know
a
what he's all
difficult
about.
time of it as well.
He had done. He'd been played as a striker under Bielsa. He'd been obviously, offloaded here, there, and everywhere. I'm not saying to get rid of him because I think Dan James has potentially an option from the bench, etc. It'd be absolutely lightning. But I think realistically, we need probably someone to caveat Solomon on the left if we sign Solomon or a Solomon-esque sort of player. I think we need a tricky winger. I think someone that's going a million mile an hour down wing. That don't cut it in Premier League for me. So
yeah, definitely.
We'll see anyway.
So you want Harrison back?
He said tricky. He said tricky.
How did
not
you come
quacky.
around to that again? Like, how did you wrangle
Tricky,
that
not
back
pricky.
in there?
Anyway, no, I'm just winding him up. But anyway, so we got up to 8 there. That
Yeah, that's good.
I'm not saying that that's what's definitely happening. I don't expect that to happen.
Having said that, Gilly, you're no specialist on what we need based on last season's conversations.
But nobody's arguing with the points I'm making there.
Burn. Really fucking some coldness to that burn.
And Parker agreed with me last season.
Only by one player.
Well, the one I wanted would have 10.
We didn't need him in the end. What a waste of money that'd have been.
Richard Hogan says, how do we get Pat off the books as well?
Well, we don't. He's going to be around for another season. And
he's a rock star now. He's not even playing football anymore.
He's going to be doing tours around Elland Road, just so he's
not just with his acoustic either. Did you see him? He were on with Kaiser Chiefs as well.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So Farker said when Farker was interviewed in the bar under the West Stand after promotion before winning the championship, he were complaining about the January transfer window and the fact that we didn't sign anybody. Which is a bit strange when you've just you've just been confirmed as being promoted. So then maybe that's a bit of frustration and a bit of a fire under the arse of the owners of we need to sign some fucking players. Yeah. So we'll have to see how that goes.
That's him saying didn't have everything I needed, but I've pulled it off this time.
Yeah.
I don't think
Don't fuck around this time, right?
Exactly. We've got to go at it properly. We really have. It's just I don't want to be a yo-yo club.
I don't think they're going to let it get to the point where we're going to be struggling. They'll pull the trigger if it needs pulling, but they'll also back the manager. I think they're not in it as much as we are for the reason we want to stay up. For them, it's financial, so they know they have to back whoever is in charge, because they're going to lose massive amounts of investment, and it puts the kibosh on potentially doing Ellen Road up as well. Like, so I like, as much as, you know, there was hate going on for the 49ers during the season and Red Bull and all that, there was like,
I don't hate Red Bull or 49ers.
Fuck Red Bull.
no, yeah. See, there you go.
Bull
That's
and
where I
Rose,
was
I'm all
going
for
with. But like, they have to back us. They have to back whoever's in charge. So I think they'll do what's necessary to keep us in the league, both financially and whatever the case may be in the dugout too. So just have to wait and see. But I'm confident enough they'll do the right thing.
They eventually, after some time, nailed their flag to his mast, so to speak. So they've got to back him now that they've done that publicly.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Like, so
otherwise everyone looks
no choice
fucking
now.
stupid.
Yeah. And I don't think we're going to be the type of fan base to take the whole excuse about any kind of financial burden left on by Rangers or any shit like that. So
Absolutely not.
I think, I think they're just going to do it, and it'll be a fruitful summer. I just don't think it'll be the 8 to 10 that people think it might be.
Imagine it comes out that they
I'm not
mortgaged
sure
Ellen
anybody
Road to
thinks
buy
so.
Rangers.
No, but I'm not, you know, I just...
Good evening,
that-
Stephen. All the way from NZ. Mr. Whitesnake says it wouldn't be me without turning up late. Well,
At least you caught us kind of live again, man.
better late than never, eh?
Yeah.
Mark Edison seems to think Pascal's house is up for sale.
Ooh.
I mean, he could just be moving.
It could be something
Yeah.
to do with getting Premier League.
Maybe he's
wins
just
now.
got a pay rise, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
He's got a pay rise. And he's got a baby on the way, doesn't he?
Maybe he's
So,
just
there
got
you
shit
go.
neighbours.
Or is that Puro?
I doubt it. I doubt they have neighbours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the
Probably
houses
not.
are that big. They've got their own postcode.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got, I don't need to have money or neighbours' money.
Actually, no, I know
So-
that Pascal does have neighbours because he's got one of those green egg barbecues. I saw it once in one of his posts on Instagram, and he's got an house behind him. So he
You
definitely does have
stalky
neighbours.
bastard.
It's fine
He's
then.
definitely got
Fine,
fucking
innit?
neighbours. I saw his barbecue.
When I was peering over his fence with my binoculars out.
Yeah.
Hello.
Got
It's
an
all
extra
about the drone
sausage there,
shot now.
Pascal. You fucking tosser.
Oh, aye.
Loves a bit of sausage.
You're looking in his windows then, not just his garden.
Next things. At the start, Karl, I mentioned about us playing in your homeland, with friendly against AC Milan. We've also got friendly against Scum arranged in Stockholm. Is that right?
Sweden.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Stephen seems to believe that it's already been moved.
Taz.
Is that true?
No,
I've seen something
it's
floating
a
around
piss
here.
take.
Christ.
It's a piss
I
take.
thought, yeah,
as
I've
it
seen
leaves.
I've seen a graphic, but I don't know if it's a
One
legit
at 8
one.
o'clock at night, and
Christ.
then it's at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, but the thing, I have it here. My mate sent it to me, and it's just a piss take. So it's like, because Sky always change our fixtures. So they were like,
Yeah.
oh, look, they've
It's
changed
not
our
even on
fucking
Sky.
fixtures again.
It's a friendly.
No, that's the thing. So someone sent that to me.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
Perfect, Karl. Perfect.
don't know. Fuck it.
Clear
But
as crystal,
Matt
Karl,
now
thanks for
changed. There you go, lads. As always, trying to do it. You know.
Oh, no. He looks right sad there in his bowling shirt. Bless him.
Yeah.
Mark
Oh,
says
I'm
Pascal does have
confused.
neighbours. He lives in Shadwell. I heard Spurs. Oh, lives in Shadwell. I heard Spurs are interested in him. Who knows?
Oof.
Which shows that
There you
Mark's
go.
not been listening for the entire podcast.
He's not been here, has he?
He's another late arrival, isn't he?
Any other business? Any other talking points? I think we've had a bit of a crash course in the 2024-25 promotion season. There, I don't think we've missed much, if anything, of any importance, have we?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
There is a game of football, a charity event happening in July. Our content creators, I know, obviously, Gilly, you've just been flashing the old graphics up there. I
Yeah,
think we
by
should talk
accident.
a little bit about
Steady on.
a little bit about it. But out of interest, if there's anyone in the chat, is anyone interested in coming to watch us? I just want to see like a show of hands. If anyone's actually going to come and watch us, kick them bells of shit out of each other. Yes,
good
the
fun.
Leeds Creator Cup. It is going to be a good. It's going to be a good laugh. I'm going to laugh.
And
a lot
it is
at
for
Jake trying to
charity.
play
It
football.
is for charity.
Yes, for Prostate Cancer UK, innit?
It's on the day after.
Only a few people with targets on them.
Equally,
So
if
it's on
anybody
the
is
day
interested
after.
in being,
Yeah.
if anybody's
one person
interested in
talk.
being a volunteer for the day, we do need some people to get involved and to help. So if you have an interest in being involved, it is for prostate cancer. It's supported by Andy's Man Club. There's all sorts of good stuff going out around it and fundraising activity and so on. So they are looking for volunteers to get involved as well. So if you are interested, if you drop an email, we'll just wait for that pop-up to go so that I can actually see the email address.
Creator Cup.
Is Leeds Creator Cup at outlook.com, please.
Oh, Danny, that's
so
a novel way of being banned from the whole chat.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are interested in being involved and being a volunteer and helping out, Leeds Creator Cup at outlook.com.
Yeah, and it's it's on at 2:00 in the John Charles Centre on the 20th. So the day after the Leeds Scum game in Sweden. So you have no excuse. You don't need to be watching both games at the same time. Come on down, buy a ticket. There's a raffle apparently as well. So
yeah,
come on down.
We don't have a clue what volunteers are needed because we're not that important. But I think it's sort of. I think it's to do with a
bit of stewarding, a bit of first aid. Yeah. Some of it's just helping out, maybe moving stuff around or helping people to seats, a bit of that sort of stuff. So there's all sorts of different roles that are available in terms of.
We also need someone to shave Karl's back.
Mine.
Mine.
Man, all the hair on my body is on my head.
Oh, God.
It's mine.
I've seen your legs. I've seen your legs. I can only imagine what the old back and sack muscle.
I did have one thing as well, moving us on from that, because that's a horrendous thought. Some of you may remember that there was quite a significant number of Leeds fans that went across to Valencia to watch Pablo play football for Castellón, his home club. We were there and we made him cry, and that was great.
That's
Martin Bland had organised that. He lives over there and he's been over there a long time, and he runs the Leeds United Iberia club group, and they've secured Bielsa as the honorary president, which tells me that he still loves Leeds. So that'll do.
Hey, excellent. I like the sound of that.
So as the end draws near, it isn't the end of the season because, as we've just mentioned, the Creator Cup is still to go ahead, which is very important. What positions are you all playing? Because I'm meant to be managing and I haven't got a fucking clue.
I'm a centre back. Smarty, I think he's either centre back alongside me or he's central midfield in front of me. Karl's on the left wing because he wants to play up against Joe. And whether Jay starts or not will be down to you.
Yeah, and I'll play either left back or somewhere in midfield, running around like an idiot.
Nice. I think we'll all be doing that at some point.
Midfield, Jay, did you say?
Yeah. I had to stifle.
I can already tell you that ain't happening.
I had to laugh inside as well.
Well,
I'm sitting
you don't want to be getting yourself two-footed on touchline, pal. So you better put me on somewhere I want to go. Oh, there'll be trouble. You'll be getting drowned in an ice bucket.
70th minute.
I'm not going on. I won't go on.
No, I don't care, to be honest. I'll play anyway. I'll be shit everywhere, so it doesn't matter.
Are you going to bring your iron with you, Jay?
I might do.
Oh, you got to bring your iron, Jay.
Just leave it on top of dugout.
Can I just say no to this? Yeah, we're not having Jay at centre back because I'm playing centre back.
I'm too short for that. I can't.
We need Gilly and someone with a bit more pace that Gilly can shout at and push.
Somebody with pace.
Yeah,
pace I used to have.
Yeah.
Who is playing
goal?
centre
Yeah,
back
that
with
sounds good to me, Aaron.
Don't know.
No idea.
Is it
all of us
five-side
bar
net?
me, Daryl. All of us bar me, who is coaching or managing now. However, actually,
Shouting.
director of football.
Shouting a boost from the side is Luke.
He's going to be a bald Victor Orta on the sideline, losing his absolute shit.
Sack of the board! Sack of the board!
Honestly.
Yeah, looking forward to it, gents. anything else you really want to have a chat about?
Oh, it's live
Oh.
on YouTube for anyone that can't
Oh.
make it.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't know.
Don't
what
tell
page
them
it's gonna
that. They
be
won't
on.
buy tickets.
You.
We won't
Fuck
pay
you,
that yet,
Karl.
Carl.
Oh well, bloody hell! I'll watch it for free rather than pay £7.
Oh no, you'll be paying for the stream.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fair enough.
see, we get you one way or another.
And Jay said he will sign any
Have we
irons on the
mentioned
day.
Scumby and shit.
I will happily. Yeah.
Not really. No, we haven't. I mean, that's.
I mean,
certainly
that is
laughing
funny.
point.
That's really funny. The fact that they got
That-
to a
yeah.
European final and got beat by a side that hadn't won a trophy for 71 years or whatever it had been. And the fact that by virtue of getting to the final and losing it, they had to pay Chelsea £3.5 million more for Mason Mount is really funny. When they
Yeah,
haven't got
that
a
is
pot to
amazing.
piss in, that's great. Do we think we'll finish above them next season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be worth
I'd
a
love
bet.
to think so.
Yeah.
I'd love to think so.
Straight
They're
away.
going
yeah.
down.
It's just a shame
They're
that
going
we
down,
haven't
they're
been
in
in the Premier
turmoil.
League this season, so we could
Yeah.
fucking beat them potentially.
Yeah.
When realistically,
It
they're
is.
probably going to be better next season, which is a fucking shitter. But it is what it is, isn't it?
They may not be though,
Yeah.
Smarty. The fuck now.
As long as we beat them, I don't give a
PSR.
fuck if they finish above us. As long as we beat them, who cares?
We're going to be selling a lot
Yeah.
of players to sign anybody else. It's
And
just
they've
a
got that,
rotating door of shite.
They've got that Radcliffe, is it? But your man, the owner, dude, whatever his name, sure, he'll take half of
Oh.
that money whenever he gets money in for players. He'll just clean half of that up anyway. So
The one that
This
looks
was
like
brilliant.
LD.
Jim Reaper,
This-
wandering through
this
the
was
canteen,
brilliant.
Oh,
giving
yeah,
dinner
this
ladies
was
the
brilliant.
cards.
This was brilliant. There's like 4 players on an open bus top parade in Malaysia.
yeah.
Finishing 15th or whatever, 16th.
With no
whatever.
fans.
Oh man, no
Nobody there.
fans.
They looked so like, why are we here? Didn't they? They looked embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny.
And good luck to the Welsh lads. So I'd seen that Darlow were out early training in
prison.
advance of the upcoming games. But yeah, good luck to them because they've all been called up, haven't they, to go play. I think is that the final qualifiers? Is that the playoffs to get into the World Cup squad? Into the World Cup, sorry.
Not a clue.
No idea.
I don't even know they were playing.
bit
I
ahead
wasn't
anyway.
paying
No,
attention.
That's
to
right,
anything.
so-
International football. Shit.
No, but good luck to our lads. That's
But yeah,
that's
good
good,
luck
isn't
to
it?
We actually have more of an affiliation to Wales than we do England, don't we? Obviously, you
Do
do.
at this
Carl,
point,
but,
yeah.
you don't know where you're from, Carl. One week you're Scottish, and next you're Italian, and then you're Irish. Like, you know what I mean? Just make your mind up, mate.
And there's far few scummers play for Wales, isn't there? So that's
Yeah.
that's going for them as well.
True.
Yeah.
They do wear red though.
Not if they're playing in white.
Well, yeah, that's fucking logic right there, isn't it? Jeez.
So that's the same logic as England then.
No, if they're playing white. I don't know.
Wow.
Fucking-
On that note,
yeah.
I think it's we're in a good position
we
to
done.
draw things to a close. Yeah. Actually, while we're at it, I'm going to ask you, where do we finish next season? Now that this season is now officially over, apart from the Content Creators Cup,
Barely,
where
Richard.
I'm going to go around and I'm going to ask you all where you expect us to finish. That's before any recruitment's done or anything. We'll start with you, Karl, seeing as you're so perky.
14th.
Jay?
15th.
Gilly?
16th.
Fuck off.
Smarty?
13th.
Combo breaker.
And I'm going to go 14th, so we've got 14 through to 16.
There we
There you go.
Anything could happen.
Yeah, wicked. Just one other thing. What was I going to say? I can't remember. So there isn't another thing. We will be back, but Karl Mayo playing red too. You support a red team. You support a red team.
Barely. Don't worry about it.
On that note, we don't know when we're going to be back. We'll probably be doing odd bits and pieces throughout the off season as we normally do. We're hoping to do a shit take of the season where we're going to collate and you can all vote on them. Actually, I remember what it was. Congratulations to Lee Fryer for winning the Predictions League this year.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Won it
was.
by,
in the
It
past.
was, didn't it?
yeah, won it by probably 10 points. I
Mile
think,
in end.
close in the end.
Yeah.
Who
So
finished
we're all
top out of us
copying
lot,
Lee
though?
Fryer next year.
I
So
think
what
that may have been you this time, Luke.
On that note, have a great off season. We'll see you throughout at some stages.
See you when we see
Do
you.
get notifications turned on for
Don't
us.
see
Do
it through,
like and do subscribe, please. And we will be back before next season. And obviously,
Oh,
next
yes,
season.
certainly.
Take it easy.
See you soon.
Bye.